Hi, I'm Sam, your resident fantasy reader,
And I'm Morgan, your romance reader, and we welcome you to Just One More Page.
where it's never just one more page.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. So, firstly, Sam, how was Clayton's birthday? Was it everything he's ever wanted? I know I saw your cake that you made him, but how did it go?
Okay.
If you don't know, Sam's son had his second birthday. It went what? It went what?
Uh,
It went good?
it
It was
went okay.
chaotic? Did he eat the cake?
He did eat the cake.
Okay, that's good. He did eat the cake.
I hope if you ever get a mother-in-law,
Oh, no, I don't want one of those.
that she doesn't sit there and make like continuous, very loud and verbal comments about stuff you do with a whole bunch of people in front, like there as a witness.
Wait.
So
What?
she was okay. So we're all on the back porch. There's like 20 people, so we're all on the back porch.
Yes.
And she's sitting there and she's eating that cake. She was making faces, and she was like, "Oh, I just don't." She's like, "That the cake is just too sweet and blah blah blah."
Oh
And
my
I was
gosh.
I'm like, I fucking made that cake. And everyone and their brother like came to my defense. They're like, "No, the cake was really good. Like we really enjoyed it. It was like, I mean, it was homemade. Wasn't like I went out to a baker." And she just like faces and comments galore.
Did she want to make the cake? Is that why she was giving faces?
No, she's just
she's a
mother-in-law.
She's just a mother-in-law, and yes.
So,
Don't worry, Sam. If I was there, I'd be defending you. I would be taking out my degree and be like, "Listen, I have a degree in this, and I can say it's great cake."
Like, obviously, like I'm not a professional, but
Yes.
like I should send you a picture of it. I felt
Yeah,
like for my skill set, I did a decent job.
I think you did a great job. You added those cute trucks. It was beautifully colored. The sides were frosted nicely. There was no tearing. It looks beautiful. And I just think that if you're going to someone's house, eating their cake, eating their food, you don't complain. You just eat it with a smile on your face.
I was proud of myself because not only did I make this cake, I made the cake the night before, and I did it successfully to where I was able to refrigerate it and thaw it out in time to where it wasn't dense.
Yes.
Like, I was like, oh my God, I did this. I am so proud of myself. I was so excited for everyone to eat this cake. And she's just like, I don't know. It's just too sweet for. I'm like, it's fucking like basic frosting. Like it
I
ain't
would be like, go have some water.
It ain't like thick sugary buttercream or anything like that. Like it's just basic frosting that I've food dyed and whatever.
Yeah.
And she's just I don't know. It's too. I just can't eat this. It's just too sweet for me. I was like,
why are all mother-in-laws like this?
You could stop making faces and comments.
Can we just? Yeah, no, absolutely not. Well,
so
I thought your
everyone who came to the party came to my defense, and they're like, "The cake is so good, and we really enjoyed it, and like you did a really good job." Blah 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 blah. Which I mean, they're like obviously you're my best friend, but like I have some good friends in my court on this side, who know my mother-in-law, know her very very well. So that was one. And then two, like a bunch of the people who were at the party were obviously nurses I've worked with at some point in my life.
Oh, yeah.
So we were all sitting there, we were shooting the shit. We're passing around stories of the crazy people we take care of. And she was just jamming herself into the stories. She has not nursed in 5+ years.
Oh,
at
yeah.
Least,
and I think
at least 5+ years.
I think when I came to see you, she started talking about nursing. And I was like, thinking to myself, like, oh, you must be a nurse currently. And then you're like, no, Morgan, it's been like 5 years. I was like,
I think it's been a little bit longer because she wasn't nursing prior to, because she was traveling and stuff. And I'm just like, so she was an RN for like a total of like actively practicing for like a year. And then she stopped, which I know why she stopped. She stopped because of her medical issues and whatever. But I was like, man, like, after a while, the stories kind of get stale, and like, if it adds to the story, great, but they're really not adding to the story. It's just like some random piece where she's like, oh, this piece of the story kind of clings to this piece of the story, but it doesn't add to the conversation, but I'm going to shove it in anyway, and it drives me nuts.
I completely understand where you're coming from. Next time, I'll bring a blowhorn, and every single time she speaks, and be like, nah.
Well, we don't. we would all kind of just like let her talk for a second, and then we
Yeah.
would just like move on to like the next thing, and we were just like, what is happening
What is
here?
happening?
And like one of my other nurse friends, like I've never actively worked with him, but I've worked with
Yeah.
his wife for years. His wife and I worked together for a while, and then he just happened to be an ICU nurse, and so we were talking, like we were comparing and contrasting our ICUs and like
Yeah.
our different programs and what we use for like continuous renal replacement therapy and whatever. Like it's obviously complicated and boring, and like I ain't
Yeah.
gonna like, but like we were just like comparing and contrasting like what we do and like how it's different at each hospital and whatnot, and it was great. And then she like shoved herself in, and I was like, you ain't even an ICU nurse,
Mm.
like quit shit,
It's like,
stop
please,
it.
please stay calm. Please calm down. Talking about staying calm, my mom and me went to listen. My mom wanted, like, I went out for breakfast
Okay.
on Sunday with my friend, and then when I got back, when, like, my mom wanted to go antique shopping afterwards, so I was like, "Okay, let's go." I don't like antique shopping. 1, I don't like dolls, and there's a lot of dolls in antique shops, okay? I don't like them, Sam. And 2, like, there's so much stuff in antique shops, and I can't help but think, "What is haunted?"
Right.
What is haunted here, okay? I don't wanna be haunted by an old Victorian child, okay? So, I walk in and I keep my arms to myself, my hands to myself. I don't touch anything. I'm like, "I'm not touching anything. I'm not looking at any," like, and also, I'm very, very much allergic to dust, so whenever I go to an antique shop, I leave, like, not being able to breathe,
Right.
like red eyes or teary eyes and like stuffed up nose, and my throat itches, and I'm like, I'm gonna like pass out. And my mom's like, "Ooh, look at this." I'm like, save me. But we ended up going to this one. Well, firstly, my mom was like, "Hey, do you want to go to this antique shop?" And she goes, I was like, "Do you want to go here?" And she's like, "I don't remember the names of the antique shops. I can only tell you when I get there if I liked it, if I like the antique shop." So we go to the first one, and she's like, goes, "No, I don't like this antique shop." So we go to another one, and she's like, "Oh, I like this one." So we shop there, right? And we leave, and she goes, "Let's go to another one." So we go to another one, right? And we
Yeah.
shop there, and then we go to another one, and then eventually I go, "Okay, let's go home." I look at the map. Please tell me why we're an hour and a half away from an hour and a half away from the house. I was like, "Oh," I was like, "She did it on purpose. She did it on
She
purpose."
did. She
Oh my
100%
goodness.
did.
She did. One last thing though I do wanna bring up before we get into the episode, is I do wanna say a huge thanks to Wednesday Books because they sent me an ARC in the mail, and Sam, I'm telling you, the weirdest thing, like, we've signed up for ARCs through, like, through different publishing companies.
Yeah.
Because if you fun fact, if you are a book influencer, a lot of publishing company has influencer, what's it called? Like influencer programs where you can like
Yeah.
sign up, whatever. And I actually had this book on my, like, because for my birthday, I go out and I buy a lot of books. And
Yeah.
I had that on my birthday wish list. And it, like, I gasped because I opened the door because I saw the mail come, and I went to go get it because I thought it was just like a package for my sister,
Yeah.
and I saw it and I was like, like, I was like, "What? What?" And so, yeah, I got this book called, oh my god, what was it called? Like, I love this book. Thank you so much for getting it for me, but now I'm gonna completely forget about what it's called.
I was gonna say,
Um
all I remember is it was like an underwater whatever.
Yeah, it's called
You sent it to me. Hold on.
I
Wait.
did.
You
It's
did send
called
it.
Out of Air.
Yeah.
It's called Out of Air. I wanna go Last Breath, but I know, like, it's Out of Air, and it's, sci-fi, thriller, horror, and it basically is, these kids or teenagers who scuba dive, they find treasure, and they find a treasure in Australia, and then they start to realize that, like, there's something's, like, affecting them. It's a really interesting concept. Really excited to read it. I am beyond excited. I got it as an ARC. But yeah, thank you so much, whoever sent it to me. I do appreciate it. And also, me and Sam would love more books. I'm just kidding. But yeah, anyways, that's all I gotta say. Do you want to go into the book, Sam?
Yes, please.
Okay. So today we're going to be discussing a novel by Annabel Monaghan called It's a Love Story. This novel follows Jane Jackson, a former child star who wants to leave her past behind her, especially now that she is a TV executive. But when her first project gets approved, she lies that Jack, a famous pop star who was once her first kiss, is going to make a song for her project. The problem? She hasn't talked to Jack in 20 years. In order to fix her mess, she enlists the help of Dan Finnegan, her arrogant coworker who just so happens to have access to Jack. Forced to spend a weekend together, Jane and Dan must navigate old wounds, unexpected chemistries, and a whole lot of pretending. So, Sam,
Yes.
we kind of already talked about the book a little bit, but
Yeah.
tell me more. Did you like it? What did you rate it? And yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna
Oh,
give it
there's a
like
sigh. There's a sigh.
I'm gonna give it like a high 3, like a solid like 3.8.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't it got better. It did get better, but I
Yeah.
don't know what was going on with the beginning of that book, but it just felt very like how like someone just tells you a story, like how we
Yes.
talk on this,
Yeah.
where it's just like
Yeah.
sentence, 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 sentence. Like there's no like
Yeah.
flourish and there's no like zhuzh to make it like more fun. It just
Uh-huh.
felt like my name is Jane and this happened and this happened and then
Yes.
this happened and
Yes.
then this happened and then this happened and because of
100%.
this so it just felt like someone was like recanting a story that like in a conversation. It wasn't like a novel kind of story. Like it felt like someone's like journal, but even though
Yeah.
sometimes journals are more exciting to read than this. Now I did enjoy like her and like Dan's relationship, and I love his family. They're great. And like I kind of like got more into it more toward the end. But
Yeah.
like the beginning, I was like, what? What is this? Truly. I was like, what is going on? So I'm gonna say only because it got better toward the end, like a 3.8. But
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
I'm not even like the biggest fan of Dan and hers relationships. But I really like Dan. But yeah, definitely solid 3.8. It improved, but it didn't get to the point where I could like give it 4 stars.
Yeah. I completely understand that. And listen, I feel bad because like I was really excited to read this book because I finished Summer Romance a couple of months ago and it's written by the same writer. And that book, Summer Romance, completely wrecked me. Like, of course, in like the best way possible. Like, I laughed, I cried, I, thought a lot about my relationship with my mom because that book has a really good like mother daughter relationship and talking about it. But I when I s but when I saw that this book was coming out and we had a spot opening to read a book, I was like, "Yes, Sam, we're gonna read this book. Let's do it."
Right.
And Summer Romance was a 5 stars for me. 5 stars. Okay, perfect. Now this one not that it was bad. Okay, it wasn't bad. It just did not have quite the same magic. There was definitely moments that made me laugh, tear up, and cringe. Like I'll tell you the cringing parts later on, spoiler. But I agree with you, Sam. The narrator's voice felt a little bit off from the jump. Like we got a lot of info, but not much feeling. And I felt very much like it was like, telling, not showing. And it made it so much harder to connect to the story. Although the whole Jack storyline, her ex pop star or ex co star I thought it was going to be like a bigger deal. I was like bracing for a dramatic, emotional resolution to her past, and there was nothing. It was just kind of like fizzled out. That
Yeah.
said, Dan's family, obsessed. I love the side characters. They really carried the whole story for me. And I think if you're a sucker for like found family tropes, then this is the one for you. You would definitely love it. And for Jane, I feel like Jane was super relatable to me because she does have like anxiety,
Yeah.
and like I felt like some of the scenes where she was like overly thinking stuff. Like I was like, wow, that's that's me, like me, 100%. So I felt so like drawn to Jane because I was like she felt very realistic to me, just being like kind of over dramatic, anxiety filled, also like hiding underneath her desk to feel brave because I mean, I don't hide underneath my desk, but I definitely like hide underneath my sheets, like in my bed when I'm like thinking about things. But like, I get where she was coming from. I just felt like she was very reliable, or I just felt like she was very relatable. And
Yeah.
I did enjoy Jane and Dan's relationship, but I can agree with you. I like, I wanted more attention, Sam. I get it. This is supposed to be enemies to lovers, but I felt like it was very instant love, and I wasn't just fully sold on it. It just moved way too fast for me, and I really, really wish that the writing was more of a slow burn, more conflict, something to make like the whole romance arc feel earned. But yeah, that's all I gotta say
Yeah.
about non-spoiler. I also rated it a high 3. I think I rated it like 3.5
Yeah.
stars. I just rounded up to 4 stars, but yeah, 3.5 stars. And it's crazy to me because I looked at the reviews on Goodreads, and this book has better reviews than Summer Romance, and I don't think it's as good as
No.
Summer Romance.
I mean, I didn't read Summer Romance, but
I
like
want to make you
you
read it.
but like the story potential was there. It just didn't like meet the mark.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It just wasn't the vibe. Okay,
Yeah, it
it
was not
wasn't
the
vibe.
vibe.
It was not vibe. Anyways, we're gonna go into our spoiler section. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to be spoiled, then check out last week's episode in which we read The Love Hater by Catherine Center. And oh my, wait, Sam, I just realized we
Yeah.
read 2 summer vibey books back to back. I guess this is us telling you we're ready for the summer.
Yeah. I mean, summer starts Sunday. Like
Does
when
it
this comes out.
really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically it starts June 21st. But for me, summer starts June 1st. Like when it's June, it's summertime.
I love summer. I
And it's
cannot.
already like 80 degrees in North
Yeah.
Carolina. So it's summer.
Exactly. It's summer already. Let's
Yep.
go. Anyways, if you have already read this novel, then stay along as we discuss it and spoil it and talk about everything we want to talk about. So,
Yeah.
Sam, what would you like to talk
Yes.
about next?
Okay, I want to talk about how anticlimactic the whole Jake scene was. Okay.
Oh my
So
God, yes.
okay. So we are building up to the
Yes.
fact that like she is going to ask him to like write this song, and like that is the whole point of going on this trip, is she needs to get a hold and write this song. And it's like this damn like Scooby-Doo people who are like they just miss the person all the time. It's
Yes.
like that they were here 5 minutes ago and they went out the back or whatever because they went to the ice cream shop, and then she finally gets them to like at the end when they're at the concert or whatever, and it's not even Jake that recognizes her, it's his uncle who's like, oh my god, it's
Um,
Janey, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then like he's like, hold on, we'll go talk. And then like Jake proceeds to just bully her the whole damn time, and then
yeah.
she like has a mental breakdown and like takes it out on Dan, poor Dan.
But okay,
And
my
then that was
question,
that, and
yeah.
I was like, what? That's what we got. That's all we got. We built up this whole moment for nothing.
I would have loved if there was more of her, like, okay, I would have understand more if there was like a resolution, like where he bullied her in the car and then she runs into him again and she's like, no, you play with me, you're older than me, which 2 years, I know it was only 2 years difference, but I was like, there's a big, well, she was 14, he was
Yeah, she
16,
was like,
right?
I was 14.
You were 16, you creep.
Yeah.
And so, like, I felt like there should have been more of a resolution of like, hey, I was young, I was stupid, and you shouldn't have taken that out on me, and you shouldn't have like made me feel so stupid. But yeah, there was nothing. And I also didn't understand why Jack wasn't a full person on the show. Like it seemed to me like he was just like a like he was just there to sing a song. He wasn't really there as on the show itself.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been more interesting if they were actually co-stars. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Or like I don't know, or like the NDA got out or
Yeah.
whatever. Like something all he did was bully her, and like even if she like sat in the back of the limo and like completely stood up for herself and was
Yeah.
like, "Listen, like I know that like because even the uncle was like, oh, she sounded so desperate on the phone. I would have been like, oh, screw you assholes.
Yeah.
Like, I have a career and I'm doing well and I make movies and like I've changed and I've grown and like I'm 33 years old and I was 14 when that happened. So we're talking 19 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
if
mean,
you're
like,
really that hung up on that one moment, like, what does that say about you?
exactly. Well, obviously, I don't think Jake was really the best person in the world.
No, but like,
Uh,
come on, man. Like, at least have a come to Jesus moment, especially with like how much Dan was like building up
yes.
Jane's like ego and like, hey,
Yes.
like you're beautiful and you should care about yourself and look at your family and whatever, whatever. Like, it should have been like a good come to Jesus moment, especially like too when Jane was on stage with the little girl.
Yeah.
And like she built up her
Yeah.
confidence. It was like,
Yes.
this is a make it or break it moment. And like foreshadowing like her having her moment of like letting go of the past and these core memories that really shouldn't affect her anymore. It's like we could have had such a moment and there was no moment. It was just like, I hate you, Dan, because he said mean things to me and therefore
Which
love is fake and blah 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 blah.
can can I talk about how she made up with Dan? So
Yes.
she okay, keep in mind, everyone, keep in mind, she works with Dan. She works with Dan, okay? I'm not sure if it's in the same building, but she works with Dan. So instead of her sending out a work email, I mean, I know it is going against HR, okay? But like instead of her being like, "Hey, I messed up," because like obviously he wasn't picking up his phone or I don't know. She proceeds to climb a billboard and
Yes.
sit on top of it. And then he's like, "Why are you up there?" She's like, "I'm thirsty and hungry. Let me in your house." Which it came off very much of like, I'm begging to let you, like, I want you to take me back in your house. So once she gets back into his apartment, she proceeds to like break down and say, like, I made a mistake. But it came off very, instead of like, he was just quiet the whole time. And I get it. Like, I'd be upset too if someone like blew up on me like she did. But you could tell that he obviously was loved her and wants her back. But the whole time she's just over there being like, "Please take me back." And I'm just like, I did not like it, Sam. I
No.
didn't like it. I think it would have been so much more romantic if the what she did was like, I feel like it would have been so much more romantic if she actually like sung a song to him or sung like, did a scene out of the TV show, because the TV show, he talks a lot about how that TV show was something that he loved watching.
Yeah.
Instead, it was her climbing a billboard and acting like a like a hawk or something. I don't even know. That was very disappointing. I love grand, what's it called? Grand, gestures, and I
Yeah.
just felt like that grand gesture fell flat. Although I will say the one person that I absolutely loved in this whole book was her dad. I thought it was so cute that she wrote his name in the text as dad.
Yeah, that was cute and that was nice and like the family really accepted her and it was amazing. And I just want to figure out I want to find out. I feel like we have a huge plot hole
Mhm.
about the muffin story.
The muffin story? What's the
Yeah.
oh, about how, she would
Like
grab
ain't nobody
muffins and
yeah, ain't nobody talking to the mom about muffins and I'm like,
yeah.
why?
Well,
I
do you wanna
want to
know
know the
why?
story
Hey, can
behind
I just tell
this.
you why? Because like, I'm
Why?
assuming they're Italian, right? I'm
Yeah.
assuming. They're, or are they Irish? I think like, I don't know, I picture them as,
No,
like,
they're
Italian,
Irish. They're
but they could
Irish.
no, they're Irish, yeah, because 'cause they're but I was gonna say Italian, but they're obviously Irish, but maybe because I know for my mom and like my my side of the family and everything like that, that's definitely not Irish, but like it's very disrespectful to eat before breakfast. So maybe their mom's food wasn't like enough, or maybe it wasn't. But then again, she didn't even say it wasn't bad. Like the mom's food was
Yeah.
good. Okay, never mind. You are it's confusing. Maybe they just
I
like that muffin spot and they don't want to offend her.
I'm so confused by the muffin. They were like, "Don't talk about the muffins," and I'm like, "Why? Why don't we talk about the muffins?" And then she like brings it up later where she like only buys herself a muffin and nobody else. But like, why? I just want to know why.
Yeah.
It's so random. But
It's so random. What did you think about the whole thing about her dad? And did you think that it was like explain some of her issues? And do you like, I would have been so pissed at
like,
my mom
I get
if she did that to me.
listen, I get the daddy issues, but I also understand the
Yes.
mom like wanting to protect her. I do. Like, I really like. I'm not 100% on the mom's side, but I get it. She
Yes.
like didn't want her daughter to be like, hey, like your dad didn't want to take responsibility for you. But like as a 5-year old, like you can't make your parents stay. but kids always think things are their fault. But I really feel like the
Yeah.
mom should have cleared stuff up like later on,
Mhm.
because I feel like her going through one relationship after another wasn't any healthier
Yeah.
than her dad leaving.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
I think that it just made things more messy for her because
Yeah.
she always kind of felt like she was trying to be the best person she could be, what other people thought. Because even in the beginning of the novel, it talks about her like when she goes on a date, she pretends to be a different person. Like she has
Yeah.
all these rules she has to follow, and all these rules that the person has to follow for them to be perfect. Because in her head, she's like, if I'm perfect, they're not going to leave.
Hmm.
And that's really sad to think about. The fact that her mom, and also the fact that her mom constantly goes after men and dating men, and she's just over there with all these rules. And it's really sad that it took her so long to tell her mom about it, about how she was really feeling.
Yeah, I feel
But,
like I get the mom wanted to protect her, but I
uh-huh.
also like disagree with the long list of men that she would like bring through, and then she would watch her mom's heart get broken, and then like that's trauma too. I do appreciate their relationship though, and like their every Friday night like movie
Yes.
spa thing. That's cute. I like that, and I also like that they tried to bring the guys in, and they were like, no.
No. Yeah,
They were
absolutely
like,
not.
no, this is our sacred thing. You guys don't know how this works. You are not coming back ever again.
Yeah, I mean, as you should, as you
Yes.
should. One of my other favorite scenes though, Sam, was when well, two scenes. One is when they get together and they're in the bunk beds, or I assumed it was bunk beds, and the brothers are trying to like knock on the door and be like, "Come in, like let's go surfing, whatever, or
Yeah.
whatever." And they're like, "Oh, they're finally together. Thank God he can stop crying himself to sleep." Like his brothers
His
were
brothers
like
were like they were
no
awesome.
chill.
I love them.
No chill whatsoever. His brothers were like, "Finally, you guys are back together. Like, you can stop crying yourself to sleep." And then the whole talking about the notebook, like, yeah, we would always come in to see him crying.
Jeez. Yeah, I know.
His brothers laughed, made me cracked up. But then, my other favorite scene that made me like legit cringe so hard is when it's when she sees Jack at the beach and she's like, "It's me, Jane," and remind me of that scene in is it in not in White Girls?
Oh,
What is
yeah,
it's
it's like it's me, Jessica.
Jessica.
I'm in here.
That's how I heard that scene where she's like, "It's me, Jane," and he's like driving away. She's like, "It's
And
Jane,"
then
and
she
then she like,
chugs the orange soda. I
and then
can't. I
she
can't.
runs away.
It's
She
so
runs
funny.
away. I mean, honestly, I would just dive into the ocean just to never come back
Right?
if I did that. But she's like, well, first off, why would you do that? But secondly, I would just run up to him and hit his shoulder and be like, "Hey." But yeah. Well, hopefully the next book we read is a little bit better. Do you have anything else you want to add about this novel, Sam?
No, just glad it's over.
Yeah. I well, hopefully next week will be better. And I do apologize because I also chose next week's book.
Listen, okay, here's a I guess spoiler for next week's book.
Spoiler.
I have already read it.
I have not read it, so don't spoil anything.
And it's
Eh.
better.
Okay, good. Okay,
It's
good.
better. I'm gonna reread it because I read it back in February.
Yeah. Well, okay. So obviously, this is hopefully. Well, I'm trusting Sam. That's better. It's a book that's off my TBR shelf called Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Mascalio, and this is the novel that I've been on my TBR since 2020. So I'm glad it's getting off. So this novel follows two sisters who are witches who are secretly living among humans, except one night Victoria's Mrs. Dinner service at her family's renowned Sicilian restaurant, only for her to find the body of her beloved twin. Devastated, Amelia decides to seek out her sister's killer, even if that means using dark magic. Except Amelia meets Wrath, one of Wicked's prince of hell that she has been warned against. Wrath claims to be on Amelia's side, tasked by his masters with solving the series of women's murders on the island. But when it comes to the wicked, nothing is as it seems. Dun dun dun. This
Dun,
is
dun,
like a whole
dun.
series. I think there's like 3 or 4 books. But anyways,
Yeah.
we're gonna be reading the first one. And we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And if you have anxiety like this character, you should rate. I'm just kidding. But if you like this podcast episode and you have anxiety, you should rate this episode because it does help push our podcast out there. And Sam will tell you. Oh, wait. Oh, my God. I missed our social. Go check out our YouTube channel, Just More Page. Go check us out anywhere else you can find a podcast. And Sam will tell you about the rest of our socials.
Okay, so if you think we're absolutely hilarious, which fun fact, my friends, we are.
We are.
We do have a TikTok. It is Just More Page Podcast. For all the pictures, videos, stories, and anything else we decide to post, we do have an Instagram. It is Just More Page Official. And we are also Just More Page Podcast on Tome and Blue Skies. So yeah, go check us out on there. Come follow us. Come slide into our DMs. We love talking to you all. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will talk to you all next Sunday.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.